This is National Native News. I'm Megan Kamrick, in for Antonia Gonzalez. A South Dakota Senate committee is advancing a bill that directs the Division of Criminal Investigation to prepare guidelines for collecting information on and investigating the cases of missing and murdered Indigenous women. South Dakota Public Broadcasting's Lee Strubinger reports.
Native American women experience some of the highest rates of homicide in the United States. Data on missing and murdered Indigenous women is difficult to gather. Republican State Senator Lynn DeSanto is the prime sponsor of the bill. She says the bill addresses a jurisdictional issue.
This is a step towards saying we want it reported, we want to be made aware. These are South Dakotans. And so not only do we have that breakdown, but we also have a breakdown of just other local government entities, sheriff's departments, as well as FBI. And we just want to make sure that everybody's on the same page so that we can get a handle on this problem.
The bill passes out of the Senate Judiciary Committee unanimously. Republican State Representative Tamara St. John is Dakota from the Sisseton-Wahpeton Oyate. St. John says the intention is to put a spotlight on the issue.
You can just imagine what it feels like to be to not know what happened to your loved one, and that feeling that those that are missing are not important, and to put that personalization on it, that these are people that are sisters, a lot of them are mothers. That data is really important so we really know what we're dealing with nationally.
St. John says this bill is partly in response to stalled talks in Congress with Savannah's Act. That bill, which passed out of the U.S. Senate, requires the Department of Justice to keep an online database of missing and murdered Native Americans. I'm Lee Strubinger in Pierre.
Also in South Dakota, the South Dakota Senate passed a bill that codifies the language of the Oceti-Sakowin as the state's official Indigenous language. Democratic State Senator Troy Heinert is the prime sponsor of the bill. He says the bill is important for the state's tribal communities. Heinert points to prior testimony in committee from Native elders down to 6-year-olds.
Speaking their Indigenous language in the halls of this Capitol. That's something I'm sure those elders never thought they would see happen, that their grandchild would be able to speak in their native tongue in their own capital. Because it wasn't too long ago that was forbidden.
If signed by the governor, Heinert says South Dakota could be the first of the lower 48 states to codify and recognize Indigenous languages. The bill recognizes 3 dialects among South Dakota tribes as Lakota, Dakota, and Nakota. A decision by the governing body of US Lacrosse to stop using Native American mascots was hailed by a group working to change the practice across all sports and in schools, cities, and states. Ray Halberter, leader of Change the Mascot and an Oneida Indian Nation representative, thanked U.S. Lacrosse for taking a strong stance. He said it's heartening to see a national sports league, quote, recognize the harmful impact that these names and images can have not only on Native American youth, but also on our society as a whole. Last fall, U.S. Lacrosse created a Native American Advisory Council, which helped the organization develop the policy released last week. The statement says the organization believes the misuse of Native American nicknames, logos, and mascots promotes misleading stereotypes that are degrading and harmful to Native Americans. It pledged to assure that such offensive mascots and logos will not be visible or promoted at events controlled by U.S. Lacrosse. The Native American Advisory Council will work on developing new opportunities to grow the game and celebrate the accomplishments of Native American players. The origins of lacrosse are in a game played by numerous Native American tribes. For National Native News, I'm Megan Kamrick.
National Native News is produced by Koahnic Broadcast Corporation with funding by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting.
Support by the law offices of Sonosky, Chambers, Saxe, Miller, and Monkman, a national tribal rights law firm with offices in Washington, D.C., New Mexico, California, and Alaska, and online at www.sonosky.com.
Support by PrairieEdge.com, proud to provide traditional and contemporary American Indian craft supplies, from feathers, furs, and hides to conchos, fringe, shells, and beads, in Rapid City or online at PrairieEdge.com. Wopila.
Native Voice One, the Native American Radio Network.